Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in the words of the greatest football manager that has ever existed, Unai Emery, good evening, and welcome to the F1 podcast. We are back, we are here, we're going to do a quick overview of the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're going to build up to Imola, and I will, on this podcast, say the full name of Imola, what the actual name for it is on this podcast later on. Well, when I say I'm gonna fucking try, but it is so long. So we're going to go and give that a go. We've got some topics as well that I would like to discuss very quickly on certain things that have been going around social media or whatever's going on. Then we're going to be building up to Imola by going through some of the stats and history that I've found. Could be right, could be wrong. I'm just going by Google. We'll go through that. And then at the end, we're going to review last week's prediction. I don't want to do this. If you're watching this, you can see one smug twat happy with how it went. We will be going through we will predict qualifying and racing going forward for Imola as well. But as you guys can tell, he is back finally after being a little crybaby off for a little while. Connor is back. Welcome back, Connor. I hope you're well. And you're freezing on my screen, so it's a good thing that we can't hear you. Nah. I'm not happy you're back, by the way. I would have been more happy if you didn't win as much as you did on the predictions. I think I would be a little bit more happy, but because of how well you did, I'm slightly pissed off. But who cares about you anyway? We've got the greatest man that has ever existed on Twitter, who, by the way, BBC, you know this guy already. He's absolutely fucking massive on Twitter. You know where he is. Go and give him a like. Go and give him a follow. Niall, welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, Tom. Not too bad at all. Looking forward to the Formula One this weekend.
I'm excited. 3 weeks.
Oh, it's been a long time.
I still don't think I've recovered from Bahrain. I'm just saying. I still don't think I've recovered. But before we get into Bahrain quickly and get most of our opinions on it, don't forget down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages. Go and give everyone a follow that is on here. Go and give them a like, apart from Connor, and go and subscribe to our channel and give us a follow on each of them as well. And don't forget as well, it has been WrestleMania week. We have released 4 podcasts for you guys over the space of a week, and let's just say I've got one more night of wrestling out of 2 hours sleep that I've had each night over the past week, I think it is, and finally I will be able to get some sleep very soon. And don't forget, in the next few weeks or months, however long it takes, you will get a teaser. We are developing a new show for everyone, and we will be creating a genius that no one else has ever thought of doing before. Well, I think every fucker's done it. So let's get into it. Bahrain Grand Prix. No, I'm Connor, I'm gonna go to you first. It's been a while since I've heard your beautiful mouth. Which has been lovely, by the way. What was your massive big take for Bahrain? What excited you the most, and what disappointed you the most?
It was good seeing the first race again. Well, I watched the highlights because I didn't watch the race, but I'm working on Sundays. I can't help it.
I'm not angry. I'm just very disappointed in
you. So it was good seeing racing again. Disappointed me. Vettel did absolutely shocking. I thought Vettel was going to come out after last season where he didn't do too well. I think he was going to come out in a new car, a new team, and I thought he was just going to smash it, but he didn't do that at all. So that did disappoint me quite a bit.
Do you reckon that was him or the car?
I don't know. I think it's a mix of both, because he needs to get used to the car, but also the car needs to get used to him as well.
Yeah.
Because the car needs to adjust to the way Vettel likes to drive it, and then Vettel needs to adjust to the way the car works.
All right, I was thinking about this, and that was a good point, Niall. And I think what you made is it does the car need to adjust to him, or does he need to get his confidence back? Do you think that his confidence has been completely shattered by what's happened at Ferrari, and he needs, and then that may be the reason why he's maybe 3 steps behind? He needs to get his confidence back, or do you think he just didn't do very well?
I think it's not like football, is it, where you can bring someone in on a short-term loan for like 6 months or a year, get someone for a season to do a job for you. For Formula One, you've got to, but you don't just get someone in for a year to do something. To Connor's point, you need a bit more longevity, don't you? He's only probably driven the car for 500 miles in total, give or take. He's going to need a few races under his belt, and as you say, Connor, they'll get to know him, he'll get to know them. But I think you need a couple of years before you really start. Like, look at Ricciardo at Renault. He needed a couple of years there before he really started to do stuff, and has now obviously jumped ship. But he hasn't lost anything. Vettel's been under so much pressure his whole career. I think it won't define him this season. It's just one bad race. And you see someone like Alonso, he had to retire because there was a bloody sandwich bag in his brake duct or something, wasn't there?
So, a Subway sandwich bag, I think it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
love it. A Subway has destroyed Alonso. Same question for you, Niall. What was the biggest takeaway you got that you didn't think that you would get before the race, and the biggest disappointment that you had after the race?
I don't know. I think it went pretty much as I sort of would have expected. Mercedes and Red Bull battling it out. I think the surprise probably was that Red Bull didn't get past Mercedes in those last 3 or 4 laps. The 2 bits of disappointment were, I've got no idea why Max let Lewis through where he did and as quickly as he did after going off the track. I think, like, why not do a lap, do it under braking, do it somewhere? Like, it's just an odd place to do it. And the other disappointment was Mazepin, obviously spinning. I think it was the second corner. It'd have been nicer if it was the first, probably, or something. I genuinely think I used more energy watching that race than Mazepin did racing in it.
All right, so this was one of the questions I was going to ask later on, and this was the controversial topic that I'm going to bring out. With Mazepin, Marzipan, as we've called him on here, I don't think he's ever going to recover from what he's done. Is there a way for him to, I wouldn't say move on from the situation, because I don't think he can, but is there a way of him, does he need to prove to people that he deserves to be in that seat for him to get less hate than what he's getting? Or do you think that this is something now that he's just going to have to ride out throughout his career?
I'll go for it. I think from my point of view, there are people who have done far worse in sport that are still doing their job as a sportsman. So I think riding it out, it will just go. I think, and that's wrong that it will just disappear, by the way. It's not right that it doesn't get spoken about, but it will just go. I think the bit that he needs to do is he just needs to keep his head down and drive as best as he can. And joking aside, he's obviously a decent driver, because he wouldn't get to Formula 2 and win the races that he's won there if he wasn't good enough. But I think the issue that Formula 1 fans have got with him, aside from what happened in the off-season, is the fact that there are better drivers. And as we spoke about on one of the early podcasts, Mark, someone like Maldonado, it's like that, where you've got a government basically, or in this case his dad, just paying for him to race, essentially. And I guess you could say the same about Lance Stroll, but he's sort of gone through that and has now come out the other side of it, I think. So yeah, in short answer, the stuff that's happened in the off season will just disappear to nothing, and that's wrong, but that is what will happen. Longer term, he's just got to do as best as he can in that car. And joking aside, he needs to do more than half or more than a quarter of a lap.
Yeah.
To actually show that he can overtake, that he can drive with tyres that are worn out, that he can manage his petrol, that all of that in a Formula 1 car that he hasn't yet had to do.
Connor, I'll go to you with the same thing.
Yeah, I do agree with Neil, and I think, like you said, it's wrong that everyone's just going to forget about it, but consequently, that's what's going to happen. So I do agree with that. I've got 2 points about Mazepin. The first one is after I'd finished work, the first thing I saw on Instagram was the safety car driver had finished more laps than Mazepin in the whole race.
I think they did more formation laps than Mazepin has done laps as well. I think that was another thing that was quite.
He must have only done like 500 meters. He literally got to the first corner, braked, accelerated, spun, crashed. That was. And
the second one is, as far as I'm aware, the same corner that Mazepin spun out was also the same corner that Grosjean had his crash last season.
Yeah,
it was the opposite side.
Yeah, Mazepin went the other way.
Yeah, he was the opposite side.
But does that indicate that maybe that corner is a risk to drivers, knowing that there's been 2 crashes in the past?
No, they're very different, though, weren't they? If you think
Mazepin was self-inflicted.
Mazepin just lit the back up and didn't control it. And if I remember Grosjean's, they were all jostling for position, weren't they? And someone braked, and he just sort of dived off to the right, and was just couldn't slow. Well, I still don't actually know how that happened. It does look like he just drove head on into a barrier. But unsurprisingly, speaking as someone who's not driven a Formula One car in a race, who knows what it's like when you're in that position. But it's a good point, though, Connor. It's a good shout, actually. But I think they were just very different incidents.
So apart from we'll talk about the Hamilton. Let's talk about the Hamilton Verstappen overtake. The line when Verstappen did it, gave it back to him. There was a lot of controversy. Fuck it, I'm saying it like that. On the interweb, about what happened and how Hamilton, for I think it was about 6 or 7 consecutive laps before that to catch up to Max, he was taking that line out and exceeding track limits. But then when it come to Max, and I think the FIA come out afterwards and said it was told to the drivers before the race that they could exceed that part if they weren't wheel-to-wheel racing, if they weren't going to try and overtake anyone, if it wasn't going to gain an advantage to overtake him. That's why it was. And if it did gain an advantage like it did for Max, then you would be punished for that. According to other things and what I've seen over the internet as well, it was either Max did that there or got a 10-second or 5-second penalty at the end. And according to some reports I've seen, Red Bull have said, we want to show the FIA that we will listen to what they think and what they say and do it. But I don't think that they did it or anything at the right point. That straight just made Lewis Hamilton go even quicker, and there was no way Max was going to overtake him after that.
No, he just couldn't get back to it. I think that was... I just didn't understand it. You either get... It's a bit like VAR. That's what they need to have track limits or they don't. If you go over it, you go over it. I think the bit I saw on... I don't know what account it was, but Hamilton had done it 27 times over the course of the race or something. Not overtaking.
29, I think I saw.
Was it 20? Yeah, some ridiculous... I
think it was something...
Let's round it to a near 30.
He did it 100 times in the race.
He did it 203 times the amount the race should have been.
You either get an advantage or you don't. And as having all of us watch Formula One long enough, we know that the drivers will take, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. He's only running out there because it gains an advantage for him, whether or not he's easier onto the throttle, it helps the tyres a little bit, whatever it might be, he's doing it for a reason. Whether or not you're overtaking a car or not, you're still getting an advantage. But I didn't see all of that, Mark. What I thought was quite funny, though, was that Red Bull, because Max, I think, complained about Hamilton doing that earlier in the race. And I don't know if that then played a part where then they went, yeah, someone's gone over it and got an advantage. Unfortunately, it was your driver, so you're going to have to give the space back. Whether or not, if they hadn't done that, I wonder whether or not they would.
It was interesting throughout the race because Red Bull had the pace. they had that pace. They showed that they are quick, and they look like the better car. But I really do think that race showed the world why Lewis Hamilton is one of the greatest drivers ever. And I
Yeah.
think it was quite funny with Max Verstappen. I think it was after qualifying. They had an interview with Bottas and Hamilton, and they turned around to Max. I don't know if it was qualifying or before or whenever. They were all in the room, and the question was to Max, why would you pay the amount of money you pay Lewis Hamilton when you could get another driver in and make it easier on the team? And Max said, you pay a driver like that for experience, to getting you over the line and winning you big races when you're needed. And I don't know whether what you both think, but he really did prove that's why he's paid as much as what he's paid.
Yeah.
Another one I
that
want to talk
bit
about.
It was up there with one of his best, I think.
Yeah. Yuki Sonoda. He's the youngest person to ever gain points in an F1 season. He's also the first Japanese person to gain points since 2000. I think it was before he was born. When the last
Was it Takuma Sato or something?
Yeah, I think I had it, but then I fucking deleted it because I'm a dumbass. Before that, another one. So yeah. So I want to get. Shall we get on now to Imola? Or, as F1 have called it, oh, Jesus Christ, Formula One Pirelli Gran Premio del Made in Italy e del Melilla Romagna 2021, or Imola.
But I'm sure it was the same with Austria last year, where they couldn't call. Do you remember they had the Austrian Grand Prix, and then the week after they had like the Spielberg Grand Prix or whatever it was? They've got the rights. I think it must be Monza or someone have got the rights to it being called the Italian Grand Prix. So they just make it up as they go along.
So before we get into some stats and some history, I'm going to ask you both one question. When you say Imola, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Oh, well, I've been there not at a race, but my wife and I went on a drive around Italy, and we ended up at Imola. Ended up with let's just go over this way, and look, the Ferrari factory, and I've just stumbled across. But it's Tamarello, and it's the Senna corner, which is no longer there as a corner, but the memorial to him there is incredible. Like, they've got this lovely. I'm going to say it's brass, but I don't know. But statue of him sort of sat, and it is really quite. Like I say, we were there just on a random day, so there was nothing going on at the track, and it's just a public park. It's a bit like Monza; you can just walk around it, and it is quite eerie because there's the fence is just decorated with flags and T-shirts from all over the world. From football shirts have been left, and yeah, that is unfortunately the first thing I think of. Sadly, is the helicopter landing, facing the other way, and seeing him being put on it. It's horrible.
Yeah, Connor. Morbid, but I think that was one of the main takes away from Imola.
It's a nice track. I think it's got a lot of like straight sections with not really many. I think it's mainly just made up of straights and turns. It's a bit like scale. It's a bit like scale electrics. You just put a straight, and then a turn, and then another straight. But yeah, I think it's a nice track, but obviously it's there to be complex, but I don't think it's as complex as other tracks.
No, it's a nightmare to overtake at. It's like a street circuit, but out of the streets. It is exactly that. It's straights and chicanes and a couple of hairpins, but it's a nightmare for overtaking. It will be jumping a bit, but I think qualifying is key to it. It's not quite Monaco level.
Oh God, that's so boring.
Qualifying is absolutely key to it.
Or Abu Dhabi. That is it's Sleep Fest 2020. So let's go through some of the history. The winner, who has started from pole, has won in 9 races. In 2 occasions, those drivers that have finished pole have gained the fastest lap. in it. The consecutive winners, the most consecutive winners year after year, is Michael Schumacher with 3, Damon Hill, Nelson Piquet, and Ayrton Senna with 2. Team-wise, constructors, Ferrari have won at Imola 8 times, Williams have won 8 times, and McLaren have won 6. Top drivers who have gained the most poles at Imola is Ayrton Senna with 8, Michael Schumacher with 5. Consistent poles who have gained the most consistency winning poles. Senna has gained the most poles with 7 in a row. Mika Hakkinen and Mick Schumacher have both got 2. In 1991, Mika Hakkinen started the race from 25th and finished 5th, which is the best jump in on the track. The worst finish was set by Rene, and that I can't even fucking say that, in 1980 when he started first and finished 10th. He's basically done a Sebastian Vettel in a fucking Ferrari. The previous winners, we're going to go I'm not going to go all the way back down to where I went, but let's go the previous, since year 2000. 2000, Michael Schumacher. 2001, Ralph Schumacher. 2002, Mick Schumacher. 2003, Mick Schumacher. 2004, Mick Schumacher. 2005, Fernando Alonso. 2006, Mick Schumacher. And then in 2020, Lewis Hamilton. Quite like to see it in.
Hang on, Mark. Connor, do you want to tell Mark how annoyed he's going to be when he listens to this back?
Why? What have I done?
Sorry?
You kept calling Michael Schumacher Mick Schumacher.
Because I couldn't be bothered saying Michael. I'm not going to lie. That's the only reason. It's in 1998, David Coulthard won. Damon Hill won it in 95 and 96. And the last time Ayrton Senna won was in 1991. And then after that, Nigel Mansell won it in 92. Alain Prost won it in 93. The year I was born, Alain Prost won. Yeah. So I think I watched that Senna movie, and now I just think I have a hatred for Alain Prost. He just annoyed me.
My wife does. She was like, I can't stand him whenever he comes on.
Anytime I see him on TV now, I go,
I think it'll be an interesting. It will be an interesting but boring race. I think interesting that it will be very, very tactical more than anything. But it's a very fast track, and it's in like the names of the people that you're saying won is due to the fact we haven't raced there for. We sort of had 10 years out of it, so to speak.
It's interesting to look at that and see there was a massive. I read into why there was a massive gap, and then it got really confusing, and I was like, "Yeah, not doing it." How confident are you guys going into this race? Without giving us your predictions, going forward, because we'll talk about the predictions in a minute. How confident are you guys going into the race? And do you think it's going to be? I know that you just said that you don't think there's going to be many overtakes. But do you think it's going to be as exciting as what Bahrain gave us?
Do you want to go, Connor?
Yeah, go. I don't mind.
Connor, you go. I'm telling you to go. You haven't talked and you sat there and you're pissing me off. Talk, boy.
I think it's like Neil said, I think it's, or Mark, I don't know which one it was. It's all about the qualifying. I think if you can gain yourself a good spot in the qualifying, then I can't see you dropping more than, if you're going to drop at all, I can't see a driver dropping more than 1 or 2 places. I think if you get top 10 in qualifying, then you're getting top 10 in the race, unless you get a DNF or you crash into someone or something along the lines of that. I think in terms of the way it's going to go in terms of drivers, I think it's going to be pretty much the same as Bahrain.
Stop talking. You're giving away your predictions. Shh. Niall, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I reckon same as Connor. I think the excitement might come from someone like Toro Rosso, Alpha Tauri, whatever we want to still call them. Like getting up there. The Honda power is phenomenal at the moment. And if they can turn it up for qualifying and we get someone. Basically, qualifying is where the excitement's going to be. If we can get someone break the top 4, if we can get Norris or Ricciardo third or second, then that's where it will come into its own. Because, as we've said, the first lap will be hell for leather, and then it will just settle down. I think is how I see it. So, I think I would love to see Norris up there because of the type of track it is. If he gets up there, to Connor's point, he'll probably stay there. I wouldn't mind seeing Sonoda up there. But yeah, I think that's it. The excitement's going to come on Saturday for me, I think.
I hope Mazepin. I'm joking.
I think we should
Trigger the
add.
internet.
I think we should add to our predictions a little yes or no box. Is Mazepin going to get a DNF?
Is Mazepin going to finish the race?
How many laps will you do?
Yeah, is he going to do it? Right, let's go through our predictions and let's have a little discussion over them. There was one person that did very, very well and angered me, as you probably could tell, quite a lot how good he did because of how shit his predictions were when we did our predictions. It angered me how good he all of a sudden become, but let's go through them. So in qualifying, Niall went for Max first, Bottas second, Hamilton third. Connor went for Max first, Hamilton second, Bottas third. I went for Max second, Perez third, Hamilton. And Connor got all 3 right, so he went into that, and me and Niall got 1 each. And then we went into the race, and Niall put Bottas first, Hamilton second, Verstappen third. Connor went for Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, and I went for Hamilton, Perez, Ricciardo. Fuck me. And at the end of that, at bottom so far, but there can be cheating involved halfway through, just so we can annoy Connor. So far, on 1 point is Niall. In second place on 2 points is myself. And in first place, sorry, I tried to get rid of him. In first place with fucking 6 points. He got max points. How has he got max points?
My only defence was I went for the differential with Bottas. And I was annoyed at myself as soon as I'd done it. I was like, I don't know why. It's like putting a Burnley defender in your fantasy team because he might score a free kick.
Yeah.
I do have a Burnley player in my fantasy team.
So yeah, no, I reckon fair play though, Connor. That is
no, we're not fair playing him. No, he doesn't deserve it. It's annoying.
What do you get for the thing is though, the season goes on till December, so
yes,
what is it, minus 10 points if you don't
turn up?
Yeah.
If he's at the army protecting our country, no, you did turn up, you lose a point. Right, qualifying. Who's going to go first? Connor, I'm going to go to you first because I don't trust you. I think you cheated. I don't know how you could have cheated, but I think you've cheated. Who are you saying is going to get pole in the... Hold on. I've pressed the button on my screen and it's going all funny. Fuck off. Thank you. Who do you think is going to get pole in the Formula One Pirelli Gran Premio del Made in Italy e del Malilla or Romagna IAE Imola?
Hamilton.
Okay. Second.
I'm torn. I'm really torn between Bottas and Verstappen.
Or Mazepin. We could say Mazepin could pull it out. Just saying.
I think I'm gonna go for. Can you come back to me on second?
No.
Verstappen.
Okay. And third.
Bottas.
No, I'm going to go to you now, Niall. Who you got qualifying in 1, 2, and 3?
So I'm same with Connor, Hamilton and Max first and second. But again, I'm just going to have to go with a differential because you've got to go. So I'm going to go for Perez.
You sure in that jinx second car?
He still got it the right way round and didn't say Sainz.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I've
He's
got.
finishing 8th. It's fine.
Sorry.
He's finishing eighth in this season. It's fine.
Oh yeah, in the overall season predictions when we first did it, he's put Sergio Perez in the driver standings at the end of the season to be 8th.
Crikey.
Yes. Yes.
Did you get him mixed up with?
He thought it was Albon going to be in the race instead of Perez. See, okay, so I'm going. Yeah, this is when I become different, and I know that I'm going to lose, but I'm just going for shock factor. So I'm going Hamilton first, Max second, and I'm going Lando Norris third.
And it's that. That's not much. That's
no.
The thing is, Bottas is capable of cocking up a lap, whereas the other two, I don't think. Well, here we go. This is going to jinx it all, isn't it? The other two don't really. When push comes to shove, they seem to deliver.
He finished.
I think Mark should have gone for Mazepin, Schumacher, and Sonoda.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have gone for. Well done.
Top 3.
Mazepin, Latifi, and Gasly, because all of them lot didn't even finish Bahrain, and just go and see if they win it. Norris finished 4th in Bahrain compared to Ricciardo in 7th. So I think Norris is going to go and have a really good season this year. Connor, I'm going to go to you. Who's going to finish 3rd? I'm not asking for the winner. Who's going to finish 3rd?
Norris.
Okay.
Gonna
go for you, Niall. Who's going to finish 3rd?
I'm going Bottas.
No, according to my autocorrect, Bottas is now called Notas. So that's helpful. I'm going to go for Norris. I think he's going to pick up a podium in here and go for it. 2nd. No, I'm going to go to you first now.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah. Connor.
Shame. Verstappen.
I think I might be doing this because I might want to be different. I really shouldn't do this. 2nd, I'm going Hamilton. I don't know why. And 1st, I'm just going to go 1st and say Verstappen is going to win. That's what we go for. Connor, let's have a guess who you're going to go for.
Hamilton.
Good lad. No.
Yeah, Hamilton.
Okay, I'm thinking of doing an extra point. All right. I don't know. I don't want to do fastest lap, so I'm thinking this on the spot. So I'm thinking that the extra point, us 3 are going to pick a driver that we think is going to shock us in a good way. That's going to go, oh shit, he did a very good race. Someone that you didn't expect to be as high or do as good in the race, and then on the podcast, us 3 will vote, and we will all come to who the winner of the person that surprised us the most. I think that's a good, nice way to add a little bit in, and also bring other drivers in that might not be able to fit into the top 3 as well. Are you guys happy with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. And on that note, I'm not going first because I'm an ass. So the one that's thinking the hardest on this, Niall, I'm going to go to you first.
I'm going to go for Giovinazzi.
Are you going with that because he's
No.
Italian?
Actually, I'm going to go for Latifi. Latifi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Latifi.
Connor.
I
could see his brain really wanting to say Mazepin. I could really see it.
It's easy if you choose Mazepin, because if he does more than a lap...
You've won. You would have won.
Can I just go for Mazepin for like he's going to finish the race?
Yeah,
go for it.
If Mazepin finishes, I reckon you automatically get the point.
I am going to go for someone that's going to surprise by their finish. I think I'm going to go for I think the guy that we're all loving at the moment, Sonoda. I think he's really gonna up his game in this one and really prove, especially. And Gasly's also another one that I think everyone's been talking about Sonoda, and he's got a bee in his bonnet about that, and he seems to be wanting to prove a point. So it's gonna be interesting. Right, you guys all happy with that? Actually, I threw my phone away. Actually, I could do it here. Shall we run through our predictions and our race? Shall we? Yay! Niall has gone for, in qualifying, Hamilton, Max, and Perez in 1, 2, and 3. In the race, he's gone for Hamilton to win, Max second, Bottas third. And you've gone for, I've done this all the wrong way round. I've put Latifi and Connor, Mazepin as me, and for fuck, I'll change that now because I know I'm going to get so confused when I actually do it. So you've gone for Latifi to be the surprise of the race. Of someone that we're going to do. And this is voted for. Okay, I've got a question for you. Should we vote on it? Or should we do a poll on Twitter at the end of the race for the people around to vote for it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, do that.
Should we do a poll? All right,
yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Surprise. You've gone for that. Connor has gone for... I still rate you for doing Mazepin, by the way. I really do rate you for that.
Because if he finishes the race, then it's a guaranteed win.
Yeah,
so
but
hopefully he doesn't spin out.
But what you have forgotten, young man, is now the people that either listen to this or around will have to vote for it. And we all know the hatred he has at the
moment. Why didn't we say that we were putting this on Twitter before I said it?
Because I'm an arsehole. So Sonoda, please just finish the race because I think you probably might win this. So Connor has gone for Hamilton first, Bottas second, Verstappen second, Bottas third in qualifying. In the race, he's gone for Hamilton, Max, and Norris in 1, 2, and 3. And the surprise of the race, he has gone for Mazepin to do it. I have gone for Hamilton first in quali, Max second, Norris third. And in the race, I'm going for Verstappen first, Hamilton second, Norris third. And the surprise or the most improved or the good driver out of those three is going to be Sonoda. Right. I'm looking forward to this weekend. How are you guys feeling? Excited?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's all changed. The times have changed, haven't they? For
yes.
the future on Saturday.
The qualifying's changed because of Prince Philip.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so my thoughts and prayers are with the Queen, right now. No matter, I don't get why people on the internet have to downgrade someone like what they did with Prince Philip, but that's the internet for you, isn't it? Just a bunch of twats. But anyway. Thank you ever so much for everyone for joining us. Thank you, Niall, for coming on. Thank you, Connor, for turning up and being the most beautiful looking man that's ever graced this podcast. Sorry, I couldn't finish with that without laughing. I love you, really. I hope you all guys are doing well. And we will see you guys next week, where we will review Imola, or as it is called, I'm going to get this down to a T at some point, Formula 1 Pirelli Gran Premio del Made in Italy E del Melilla Romagna 2021. Just fucking call it Imola. Just call it Imola. We all know what it is. Anyway, bye. My mouse is not working. Oh, here we go. Bye.